We were just one demo and one incredible save away from having this matchup in the grand finals of the Winter Major. Now, Daz, we get it to close out the Verizon Ultra Cup. Spacestation Gaming needs to beat G2 twice. Here we go.
This is going to be a battle, Stacks. SSG have been looking forward to this matchup for a long time. Now they finally get a shot at the Titans on G2 Esports, a team that looks like they can't be beat right now in North America. But let's see if Daniel and the crew can make it happen.
Oh, we've seen it time and time again. A team making that lower bracket run has all the momentum, and Reddle scores 8 seconds in. It's an opening flourish out of SSG.
Immediately on top of the ball. Good read on the clear from Arsenal, and Reddles with the follow-up. That's the type of speed you got to play against when you go against G2. SSG strike first.
It did not take long at all, and now the question is, can G2 answer? JNAPS will have to start it from near his own back line. Atomic up ahead, nothing there as Arsenal dumps to the corner. And JNAPS thought about the challenge, but he will back out of the play. He needs a lot of boost. He's got nothing. Well, he'll get a free 30 plus out of that. And now Daniel has Arsenal and Reddles way downfield. Chicago on his way back. Demo by Reddles, it's wide open and Daniel couldn't get a shot off.
Wide open chance, and yeah, you're right, Daniel a little awkward there, can't get that play, but look at the speed we're seeing coming out from SSG. They are making a point here to get on top of G2 and make sure they're as uncomfortable as possible, as these offensive drives have been deadly.
Spacestation Gaming getting through after a lower bracket final with FaZe Clan that was starting to look eerily similar to their upper bracket matchup yesterday. As JNAPS will get a shot away here. Chicago decoy, didn't get the redirect. Now up ahead, Reddles to Arsenal. Arsenal missed the open net, and Daniel again can't put it on target. And SSG's accuracy betraying them early on after that first goal. Chicago off the bar. JNAPS off the bar as well. Arsenal got a piece as well. Neither side particularly accurate, and JNAPS couldn't get the read on this as it bounces away.
So many goals should be scored by now. You saw Daniel one end, then the counterattack from G2's been so strong. Here's a chance for Atomic, blocked out instantly. It just seems like times where you think both these teams should be scoring, they're just missing that final shot.
Both teams doing an excellent job with boost management, though. That's a situation where SSG could have been starved out, having to play defense for so long. They did not let G2 get the upper hand. We remain with a 1-0 SSG lead as Reddles got one across, and now Atomic taking his time to play over Arsenal. I imagine after watching the way SSG has played and seeing some of the success that FaZe did have in that last series, we might see a few solo plays if they get Arsenal as last man back, with someone like Chicago trying to juke him out of his car. But for now, they're trying to find a way out of their zone as JNAPS will get across.
Yeah, G2 definitely looked a little shaky in that series with FaZe earlier in the day. You got to think 3 overtimes back-to-back, and still, you know, they ended up coming away with that series, but FaZe definitely made it close in that aspect, just kind of showing how human G2 really is. Now, with this game, they've already had 5 shots to SSG's 3, and they still haven't been able to convert.
Atomic will get the second touch to send this all the way downfield, but Daniel's right there. Atomic does a good job to keep this in play. As it will get to the ceiling. JNAPS didn't get a clean shot off Reddles in his way. Reddles defensively has been outstanding in the first 3 minutes of this grand final, and he's trying to get a little help out of Arsenal. He got some, but JNAPS will play this right back across. Chicago's waiting. Atomic coming on to tie the game, and Daniel stopped him.
It's just automatic, though, when you see those pass plays come out from G2, you get a little scared. It was a really good placement on Atomic, and I think Daniel wanted to challenge him, but it was smart for Daniel to hesitate because he ended up getting that save out.
It's been a very physical defensive effort out of SSG. You heard Gibbs talk about it, averaging over 5 demos a game, and now 3 demos between the two teams in a span of 3 seconds. Arsenal leaves it for Daniel. JNAPS got a piece of that as well. Chicago has to wait for Reddles' play, and this will go right down in front. Nobody diving in, so it was relatively safe. But now Daniel threatening as he forces JNAPS into the air. And Reddles has a lot of time to play this. A little less time now with Atomic bearing down on him. Chicago shot as Daniel got caught on the ramp. ties the game.
Yeah, Daniel was already low on boost here, and then you can see trying to play that sidewall, turns in just as awkward as the shot from Chicago comes through. SSG have to understand, even though they want to take some time on their own back wall, G2 is not going to wait on you as they force the issue for that goal.
The lead lasted almost 4 minutes, but it does not hold to the end as Daniel comes out the better of the two here. Has Arsenal trailing behind him, and important that Chicago didn't just play that ball back downfield, had to get it out to the side first. Daniel will cut on this, but Chicago's got it. Now with 40 seconds left, bank off the ceiling, sent away by Atomic. Reynolds is waiting and he scores!
Oh, that's my Gang Slater right there. You give him a look and he's putting it in the top left corner. A tough clear for Atomic, but not the best one for G2 because Reynolds placed that perfectly.
There was one really good defensive play away from the oncoming attackers, and then they follow it up by handing the ball right back over. Arsenal has to improvise after the initial miss. Chicago got it to JNaps, and we're tied back up again.
Oh, it just doesn't stop. G2 come back so quickly. You think that nothing happened. Look at this read from JNaps. Daniel in a tough spot, and just like that, he has to go up because he knows what's going to happen if he misses. G2's going to place that every single time. We've got 4 goals here in game 1. 30 seconds left. It could go either way.
3 of those goals scored in a span of 30 seconds. Daniel with Arsenal to his left, Reynolds to his right, Daniel to the backboard, and Atomic snuffs out the play with 20. Reynolds for the hat trick. Ooh. Chicago shut him down. Needs another touch to get around Arsenal. Doesn't have it, but Atomic does. As he gave it away to Daniel, looking for Arsenal, and Chicago got back again. They're all just packed in like sardines in front of the G2 net. Reynolds, Daniel for the win, baby! 4 seconds to go. Daniel strikes.
This is beautiful. 50 out, Reynolds sharing the ball. The quick pass, the quick shot from Daniel, and SSG take the lead. 4 seconds left, but we've seen G2 score in this time.
It has been a fast and furious final minute. G2 out of time, they fake it. Chicago doesn't quite get there. Atomic to lob it up for him. Chicago does have full boost. Down to JNaps to tie it. Incredible!
I can't believe it. Even though I knew they could do it, they still pull it off. Look at this touch from Chicago. Sets the net up open, and of course, you give JNaps a free shot. He's going to bury that.
That is unbelievable. 5 of the 6 goals scored in the final 61 seconds. What else is going to happen here? Daniel waiting. He's a little awkward, though. He was backwards for most of that. And now Atomic going to run out of juice as Arsenal goes by him, and he's by 2. JNaps catches up, and that kind of lets Chicago off the hook. Reynolds trying to drop it down to Daniel, and not this time. Atomic snuffs it out. Hey, they finally started playing defense here, Daz.
Yeah, seems like it as this overtime continues on. SSG, though, a little in trouble here. G2 gained a lot of momentum off of getting some of these clutch goals, and they look to try to add one more to the tally. We'll have to see if Daniel can kind of carry this out. Need to see more confidence of him on the ball. It's been tough for Daniel to kind of get things going here, but Arsenal and Reynolds have been able to pick up anytime he's fallen off.
Daniel tracking here, but Chicago played around him. Reynolds and Arsenal almost double. There's a demo on Atomic. There have been plenty of those in this game. And with the overtime, you imagine maybe that demos per game average of over 5 might even go up for SSG. But right now, they got to play a little defense. Arsenal stuck by Chicago, but he can stay with this. And that forces JNaps into action, and Atomic pinches one that I don't think Chicago was ready for, and this gives it right back to SSG and an opportunity to finally end this 3-all stalemate. G2 up to the task, and Atomic will give his teammates time to reset.
Good on Daniel. Great control there. Oh my goodness, fast too. Now Arsenal trying to bump out Atomic. Can't get there. Chicago with the stop. And now SSG will play it in the corner. Daniel and JNaps take each other out. So Reynolds is buying Daniel some time to respawn here as G2 try to march upfield.
JNaps got caught forward a little bit. He's just got to try and stall this out. Chicago coming to help Atomic way at the back, and he's got all the boost in the world. Atomic with Chicago waiting. Atomic over 2. Chicago didn't get the shot. JNaps will follow, and G2 comes all the way back to take game one.
They're so threatening. Atomic, first you watch the double. Then wait, where's Chicago gonna put the ball? That's when Daniel jumped thinking it was going left corner. And of course, JNAP's always gonna place it perfectly. And G2 fight back to take game one.
Wow, oh wow, oh wow. G2 down very late with 4 seconds left. They answer back at 0. They score in OT. G2 has been exceptional over the past several months in overtime.
Yeah, really, looking at this game especially, it just kind of shows you G2 keep fighting until the clock hits 0. That play to tie it up was phenomenal. And even that passing play, you always have to watch out because anybody from G2 can strike, but when they play together as a team, it just feels like no defense can stop them.
And there isn't a whole lot of defense that is there to stop them in the first place. SSG is a team that has been susceptible, especially to solo plays, to open things up. This time, they let a lead slip by. They lost a lead 3 different times in that game. Just not able to put away G2. And now, G2 has a ton of momentum as we go to Aquadome. Game 2 of our grand final. Remember, for those just joining us, G2 coming from the upper bracket, undefeated so far. They only need to win 1 best of 7. Spacestation Gaming got to beat them twice in a row here, as Chicago will make the early save. And yes, the first 8 seconds goes by without G2 conceding a goal. Big upgrade from game 1.
Yeah, this is solid, though. SSG need to find a game plan, though, of stopping G2 when G2 are on the press. Taking advantage of some of those counterattacks, or some of those double commits, I should say, would work out. And just see Daniel pushing that one on. Daniel starts to get more confident in the shot placements, and we see Daniel place more of his shots on target. I think that would be a big step up for SSG in the scoring department.
Well, JNAP's not going for the direct shot, playing over top of Arsenal, so now Daniel has to collect, and he'll get around Atomic. He's got Chicago parked in front, and Reynolds can easily play this across, but to what end? Not much. Here's Arsenal now, going up the wall. JNAP's shadowing him, Atomic coming in underneath, and it's Atomic that makes the clear with Chicago up on the wall with him. So still not great spacing defensively out of G2, but at least they have the angles covered.
That's right. Look at SSG, 1-2, 2-2. Now it's Arsenal against Atomic, but Atomic's buying a lot of time here for G2. Chicago and JNAP's both back in action.
There have been 3 demos in the last 20 seconds for SSG. They know exactly what got them here, as Chicago plays right at Daniel. And Arsenal is available to bring this back to Daniel, and Atomic again with the save. You know, Chicago and JNAP's have been up kind of in the danger zone. They've been taken out time and time again already in this game. They haven't done anything about Atomic, though. He's been the wall at the back that has stopped SSG every time down the field.
And stopping Atomic, though, I mean, that's a whole thing. I've seen teams develop play styles just to take down Atomic. Sometimes it works, most times it doesn't. Right now he comes through and gets a clutch save from Daniel's shot. SSG is still trying to knock at the door. G2 have looked uncomfortable this game. We saw JNAP's in the midfield at once with just a really bad read of the ball, but SSG haven't really been in prime position to take advantage of it just yet. So far, G2 don't have a single shot registered as we approach the bottom half of game 2.
Reynolds thought Daniel was going to creep up, and he thought better of it, so Reynolds' pass went to an empty space. Arsenal waiting for Chicago's shot, and Arsenal, who's been kind of picked on today by teams, makes a great save, and it turns into a shot on the other end that goes well wide, and now the track meet is on. Back and forth they go. Atomic got over Arsenal this time, but Daniel will take charge, and he'll dribble through the air. He's got Reynolds coming on. Reynolds will have to sweep underneath and just couldn't get the shot by JNAP's.
This is still very uncomfortable for SSG. You can see them just trying to hold on. Now JNAP's looking for the lead block, forcing Daniel up, and good on Daniel to go high on that play. As again, Chicago putting up shots. This is JNAP's first shot, and Daniel there with the stop. G2 have just been testing the net to see if SSG will make a mistake.
Chicago cuts in front of JNAP's, and that's going to force Naps back, as Reynolds got the boost steal but did not get the ball. Arsenal will. He's got Atomic and Chicago to contend with, and he lost the ball to Atomic and couldn't take Chicago out as Chicago ducked inside the net. Now Reynolds through JNAP's, but off to the side, and with a minute 30 left, a much different story in game 2, but that one's missed by Atomic. Daniel thinking about pouncing, He will finally, but now he's got to bail out as JNaps leaves that for Chicago. Looking for Atomic, and Arsenal got in the way. I'll tell you what, Arsenal, he has had some reads in this tournament.
That was a really good read and a good cut. Again, slowing down G2 on the offensive press is huge. Again, Atomic hasn't had a shot on this game. Daniel will take one, and he'll score. Finally, SSG get a point.
Daniel's been waiting for his chance in this game, and finally JNaps let one get away. Chicago couldn't recover, and with 1:03 to go, another lead for Spacestation Gaming. Could we be in for another wild final minute? Reddles nearly on target. Chicago didn't get there. Daniel scores off the big booming clear from Reddles.
Look at this clear. No one was expecting it. Of course, tough read out from Chicago. Daniel there with a clean follow-up. And again, those long booming clears, you see G2 so ready to pounce. Can they score two with 56 seconds left? They surely can. SSG have to realize that.
Well, Reddles starting this play off very similarly, but this time Atomic way up there to reach. 2 goals in the span of 7 seconds have SSG poised to tie up this first best of 7. Arsenal staying with this, and that slows down G2 even more. Seconds incredibly valuable. They burned another couple there. Now Daniel taking this into enemy territory and burning even more time off the clock, down inside 30 seconds. And Arsenal almost put the game away for good. There's still a glimmer of hope for G2. Atomic didn't get it cleanly through Reddles. Chicago will set it for JNaps. Daniel is there as well. That's a good indirect play, but Chicago couldn't get there in time. SSG is fast enough. They're gonna close out G2 in game 2, and it's gonna be a 1-all series unless that goes in. It does not, and SSG does tie it up.
Well done for SSG, a shutout on G2. And I think a lot of people were still expecting G2 to get something on the board there towards the end. This one was something that, you know, you look at the stats over the course of this. I think this is the first time G2 haven't scored in a game.
It feels like it. This offense has been incredibly potent. I think the only team that scored more per game was Envy, and they didn't play nearly as many as these two squads have played up to this point. So now G2 know they are in a battle here with Spacestation Gaming, and we go on to game 3. I think the key here, Daz, for SSG, get this over with as quick as possible. Don't drain yourself mentally trying to get through this first best of 7.
Yeah, we've seen SSG do that before against teams where, you know, I believe last time they were in this situation, you know, they just ended up running out of fuel. You know, this team's been playing, you know, series over the course of the day, and now you have to look at their performance. You don't want this to go 7. You want to close this out. Do it in 5 if you can. And again, the start there, though, is shutting down Atomic. Atomic he had no shots in that last game. This was the first time G2's been shut out this entire tournament. And Atomic and Chicago only had 2 apiece. But they get one off an own goal there, so yeah.
You know, look, I know Arsenal has got some really good passes in this tournament. That's not one that was intended for him. Chicago credited with the goal after that own goal by Arsenal, and now SSG has to regain after having scored the only 2 goals of game 2. And now G2 trying to press that advantage early on as everybody recovers. Daniel going to bring this all the way to ground. Now he'll take to the skies, and Atomic right there to meet Arsenal. And you know Arsenal's going to be pressing maybe just a little bit more and try and get that one back. Good bouncer in by Atomic as Chicago will play around. And Daniel right there to meet him. This first minute belonging, at least so far, to G2 off that gift. And Atomic looking over towards Chicago. And this is kind of the danger, I think, for SSG, having to play from behind against one of the better front runners in the world here. G2 does not give up leads very often as one skied up. JNaps will block that off the backboard. Arsenal has Daniel as a decoy, and Arsenal's shot is saved away.
That was so good from G2. Is it a double commit? Yes, but when you expect the bump to come out of SSG, JNaps so smart to cover that position, keeping G2 in a 1-goal space. That's really solid defense.
Daniel's waiting for this ball off the ceiling as he beats Chicago in the air. And Arsenal looking for Daniel, who's looking for Reynolds, looking for the goal, and he scores!
Oh man, if Reynolds keeps getting looks like that, G2 might be in trouble. Look at this beautiful lob up there for from Daniel to Reynolds, and Reynolds top left positioning, tied up ball game. They finally get things going.
So what do they have to follow up here? JNaps on target, Arsenal with the clear. And this is a great drop-down pass intended for Atomic, but he peeled off at the last moment. Reynolds avoids Chicago, and then Chicago, after missing the demo or bump effort, still gets back on the ball, and Atomic can at least play in his general direction. And Chicago now realizes he's got to come back. He can't keep cherry-picking downfield, as he'll get a big clear out of this with JNaps streaking down the middle, and Arsenal just got to this. I think if JNaps makes contact there, we're looking at a new ball game.
I just have to say, this is a beautiful game. This series has been amazing to watch so far. Seeing both these teams just give it their all right here, it's just been amazing. Demos coming out, solo plays, team plays, everything. Right now, G2 trying to get back into control of things, but look at the way SSG are passing this around, not afraid of the back pass, even after that own goal from Arsenal. And the same thing I should be saying, even with how they're sharing the ball and moving it around, it's just been phenomenal as Reynolds looks for a solo play, but Chicago is going to get a block. Arsenal follow-up shot. They'll go high and off the back wall.
A lot of high-pressure games played by SSG already today, preparing them for this moment. They started today in the lower bracket after having absolutely dominated version 1 to close out yesterday. They avenged their earlier loss to FaZe Clan in the lower finals, and here we are. Arsenal taking over from Reynolds. Daniel's going to loop around, but Atomic's hit the clear right at Slater. Reynolds indirect for himself and the lead.
Oh, it was dangerous. As soon as no one challenged him off the touch from the ceiling, I knew he was going to place this well. Solid shot. Reynolds has been shooting so good for SSG as he picks up second goal for them. He's 2 for 2 in game 3.
Inside 2 minutes, it's SSG with the lead late again. G2 has shown tremendous comeback ability, though. JNaps around Arsenal. Looking to set up Atomic. Instead, he'll have to settle for Chicago coming on, and there's the demo on Atomic. So the last man taken out. There's the respawn, and JNaps with the save after the demo on Arsenal. Reynolds still comes up, though, and he's got the hat trick.
Slater, the shooter, my goodness. 3 for 3 now on the shot positions. Look at this. Same placement as last time. He has full faith in Daniel, follows it all the way through. 2-goal lead for SSG as they continue the scoring run.
Reynolds with 5 goals already here in the finals. 3 of them have come here in this game. Almost single-handedly leading SSG across the finish line, but JNaps has other plans. Reynolds makes the save there. They're going to get real sick of seeing Reynolds' name pop up eventually here. Chicago on target. No, it was a little wide. Now Atomic to JNaps, and Reynolds comes in as well. I think JNaps kind of heard the footsteps, or at least the engine coming up behind him. Reynolds looking for a fourth. No, he may get credit, though, as Daniel hit it off of him. And back it goes with JNaps. Daniel with the save. And G2 going to struggle to get one on target from this position.
Great save out from Daniel as well. That was an on-target counterattack shot as Arsenal finds that double. And G2 still trying to get on the board. You have to realize, even though G2 have a goal this game, it came after an own goal from Arsenal. Technically, this team is still on a scoring drought since game 2. As Daniel tries to do it all himself, G2 have struggled to find an answer. Wouldn't be surprised if they drop this game. We see a timeout for them. 30 seconds remaining here, and they just can't get anything going offensively.
Yeah, G2 has run through much of its offense from the first minute, or the last minute of regulation in game 1. As this goes right back the other way. Arsenal waiting, and now he will pick that right away from Atomic. JNaps in front, nobody's there. Reynolds will clear. Down to 10 seconds, unless they've got a goal real quick. They will not have a shot to tie this game up. Chicago watching this one. There's little he can do about it. Atomic can't get one in front. SSG takes control of the series, and now we do wait to see if Daz is right, and G2 takes a timeout.
Again, scoring drought here for G2. This time Atomic does put on a couple of shots here. As again, everyone from G2 putting on 2 shots apiece. Spacestation Gaming, though, especially with Reynolds. Big game 3 for Reynolds. Daniel sharing the ball here as well. I mean, you gotta wonder, maybe this is it, but I think they're gonna keep going here, Stacks.
Yeah, they are going to keep going here as we look at the Mobile One high performance replay, and we see the Reddles show on target every single time. 3 goals, a hat trick from 4 shots, and those are just the 4 that counted for him. I think he might have had a couple more that were really good looks. SSG looked incredibly good in Game 3. They've had a phenomenal start to this series, now winning back-to-back games. They came out of the gate storming in Game 1, and they just let it slip up at the end. G2 still trying to catch up to what Reddles has been doing.
Something's got to change for G2 when they're in the offensive third, because right now they've been empty 2 games in a row. Sure, they get that 1 goal, but of course, again, off of Arsenal's mistouch.
Yep.
So they got some work to do. Meanwhile, Spacestation Gaming have to remember this is a marathon, not a sprint. They have to remain consistent for the rest of this series, and then another one on top of that.
And that may even be part of G2's mindset, like, hey, you know what? We got one in hand. I don't think you want to let SSG get that kind of momentum, though, as JNAPS, what a win over Reddles. So now Daniel will let Arsenal take over. Chicago knocks him out of the way, so now Daniel does have to get involved. Chicago to center, and Arsenal's right there. Good turn on the back wall. Now up against Atomic, and he at least made him wait for a moment. Everybody's boosted up now for SSG as Reddles takes over from the backboard. He got clipped by JNAPS on his way through. And Daniel, simple shot, simple save by Atomic right over to Chicago. So G2 has settled in nicely now, trying to get some opportunities on the offensive end, though. Their defense has been fine. It's the offense, as you mentioned, Daz, has been struggling. Outside of that first game, they haven't put the ball in SSG's net without some help from Space Station Gaming.
But you know, you're right on one thing where, yes, G2 are probably fully aware that, hey, we have another series after this, and I think for this team especially, they're going to keep a calm mental. They won't get too frustrated knowing just that, okay, this gives us some time to figure out this play style and work on a counterattack while we have that opportunity. As JNAP slams one across, but Arsenal ready to read it. This ball lasering back and forth from that halfway line to the SSG end as G2 again testing the defense.
Well, G2, no stranger to the bracket reset. Remember the way they lost the first best of 7 to Team Queso in Los Angeles. And they battled back like nothing happened. JNAP's denied in point-blank range by Daniel, who's quickly onto this one now. Wide turnaround, try to take it through 2. He's beat 2, and Atomic got around Reddles to make the save.
Wave dash on the wall. Arsenal has Reddles midfield, but it's over him. Daniel can control this and pops it really quickly over Chicago, but Daniel got bumped, so can't control that one. This is still in the midfield, halfway through this game, scoreless. Both teams just looking for that one mistake to start to move in.
Halfway mark as Daniel, good win, got it to Arsenal. It's loose in front, and JNAP scrambles to get there. Reddles still, though. This is how quick SSG is, and it's been so impressive. Sure, Arsenal demoed behind the play by JNAPS, and Atomic has Arsenal back in his way off the respawn. You know, SSG will have a play kind of fizzle out thanks to the G2 defense, but then they're right back on it. I think a lot of other teams will just kind of play conservatively, move back into the defensive end, and SSG is not letting G2 get comfortable at all on either half of the field. Daniel will play this right down to Chicago. Arsenal picks his pocket, and now looking to take this himself, and he just can't get it to go.
Still, though, a little scary on that goal line for G2. JNAPS gets demoed, and Arsenal will have a free touch looking for the follow-up. Did he get the flip? Doesn't seem so, but Reddles is playing deep third, so they'll be able to hold on to this one, at least buy the team some time to rotate.
7 goals between the two teams in game 1. And JNAPS goes in behind Arsenal to get G2's first goal in what feels like forever.
It's been a while since JNAPS has had a free shot like that. And I mean, what placement? Even Arsenal knew it was coming, but Arsenal couldn't turn fast enough. JNAPS ripped that one into the lower left corner.
4th goal in the series for JNAPS. He had that hat trick in game 1. And now Naps looking to set up Atomic. who's yet to score. Oh, he took the shot himself, and he caught SSG by surprise.
JNaps is feeling it. Guess what? If he starts to get warmed up, that's a big problem for SSG. Even had Reynolds in his face, didn't matter. 2 goals for JNaps, 2 goals for G2.
And 2 goals separated by all of 6 seconds. An SSG-esque start here in the final minute 20. Daniel out for Reynolds. That shot will be on, but it's an easy save from Naps. He goes over Daniel like he's not even there. Now around the corner, Arsenal. Oh, he had to play that indirect, hoping Daniel could get to it. Instead, JNaps did, and Chicago will finish off the defensive effort, who's giving it right down the middle. Reynolds will just dish that off to Arsenal. 45 seconds, Arsenal denied by Atomic. Now Reynolds. Kind of hard to imagine this SSG squad being shut out in a game, but G2 doing just that. And JNaps is about to put it away. Chicago couldn't get it there in time, though. Now down to 30 seconds. And still now some life for SSG with Arsenal forcing a double commit out of Atomic and JNaps, but a safe one as there's no further pressure out of SSG.
Arsenal with that carry. They're still trying to break through. They get this in a good drive as Daniel shot. Oh, Atomic saves it at the goal line. Will clear it away. And maybe with that, they also clear away SSG's hopes of getting back into this one. They tried to put the pressure on. G2 stood tall, and they are going to come away with this game 4.
2 apiece. It'll turn this first best of 7 effectively into a best of 3 for the Verizon Ultra Cup. G2, remember, having that extra life so they can end it here, or SSG can force the bracket reset. But if G2 plays lockdown defense like that, it will be a quick grand final.
G2 doing a really good job of just holding on to the ball and, again, creating chances for themselves as well. I mean, look at this. Being able to get some of these touches out, forcing JNaps to get a clean shot just after 50 on the ceiling, by the way. I mean, that's solid. And then, of course, JNaps, when he's shooting like that, it just, again, poses a completely different threat from when he goes up into the air for the future. This is going to be really tough, again, for Spacestation Gaming, because remember, we all thought G2 was going to take a timeout because maybe they thought the momentum was going to be a lot from SSG. They say no need, recoup, and continue to move forward. It's going to be a big game 5 coming up next.
2 of the better coaches in North America. Who are we to second guess them, right? Stathu now leading G2. Chrome, as he has done for a while now, leading Spacestation Gaming. Both teams incredibly complimentary of their coaches. As Atomic will try and start it off out of the corner. Arsenal's easily got this, but it goes right at Chicago, and that's bad news for SSG. What a save by Reynolds and Daniel, crisscrossing in front. JNaps will try and set up Atomic again, and now it's G2 getting those second and third chance opportunities that SSG was generating in the early stages of this series.
Oh man, they are putting on the pressure right now. Arsenal, wait, does he have a read? He got bumped into that, got a piece of it. Reynolds with a misread, and you see Chicago bearing down, still trying to look for a bump on Daniel. Now Chicago turns and takes a shot. He's doing it all. Chicago strikes for G2.
I don't know how he got to this. Daniel looks like he has it all lined up. Chicago beats him to the punch, and Reynolds doesn't have a chance sitting down there on the ground. Chicago opens up the scoring, and now SSG got to be wondering what has gone wrong since the middle stage of this series. Arsenal played one through. JNaps has this, and the brick wall is all set up. Atomic going after Reynolds. Try to redirect this down in front as well. Atomic trying to do absolutely everything, and he almost set up Reed for a 2-0 lead.
Still not done. JNaps with that flip reset, at least trying to force a 50 to keep things in here for G2. As Atomic, awkward spot. SSG finally trying to slow things down, but again, you can see just G2 starting to hunt SSG in their own half, making them as uncomfortable as possible and kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine.
Daniel, I think he got hit by Arsenal, knocks him out of the play, so Arsenal's got to make the turn himself. Maybe a little sooner than he would have liked. Got a boost steal out of the corner, though. Reynolds going after Chicago. Did not make contact, and all that physical play has abandoned SSG now. Arsenal down to Reynolds. They're going to try and do it the old-fashioned way now, as Daniel is beaten out by Atomic, and the speed of G2 has finally come through. Reynolds looking for Daniel in traffic. JNAP's got there instead. And the first 2 minutes decisively have belonged to G2. There are windows, though, for SSG. But they have not been able to bust through just yet. Maybe Daniel here with Arsenal waiting. Daniel through one, got the shot away. Can he get a shot here? No, nothing behind it. And Chicago bails out G2.
I thought Daniel was going to go through the entire defense on that play. Looked likely as he got it past one. Daniel, though, with the finish, and he will! Off the assist from Arsenal, Daniel strikes.
Off the assist, too, from JNAPS. He's trying to play that maybe up into the ceiling. Instead, it goes back. Waterfall right down in front. Big break for Spacestation Gaming. They tie things up here. Daniel getting his fourth. And now Reddles. Slammed to the wall by Atomic, but he'll still take this. And JNAPS intercepts, but now SSG looking a lot more comfortable themselves. Both teams have settled in a crucial Game 5.
Still that battle continues on in the air, and Chicago again with the read. Pushing that one in, picked out the SSG attack.
As closely matched as these two teams are, you can't afford to give up one like this. That one's going to sting as Chicago picks up his 5th goal. Good grief, here we go. Chicago again. G2 in the lead. JNAP's shot saved by Arsenal. Misspoke, by the way. Chicago, his 4th goal. Whatever, he's going to get his 5th in a moment here anyways. 2 minutes left as Reddles will play one to Daniel. Arsenal underneath him, but Daniel trying to do it all himself again, and he's proven capable of doing that, Daz, but I start to wonder if maybe Daniel's trying to do too much, whereas G2 on the other side look more like a full team effort.
Well, no, I mean, Daniel was really quiet here at the start of this series. He's finally come alive, and it has created some plays, and Atomic, oh man, what a laser of a shot. G2 aren't done just yet. You see Chicago trying to get those solo plays to carry it in, as well as run out the clock. SSG do have to be on a little bit more of a team approach here, as the solo plays have not worked in their favor this game.
Chicago knew exactly where Reddles was going with this ball. He was able to read quick, but now Arsenal just dumping one deep into the G2 end, and now it's Daniel against Atomic. He got another one through, but he'll have to go off for boost here because he can't continue the play directly. Arsenal challenge ends up on target. JNAPS has that save away. And now Reddles trying to get involved in the action. Daniel's there as well. And a decent clear by Atomic, but that will give SSG a chance with a minute to go. Trying to get the flip reset Arsenal, and Chicago was with him every step of the way.
I like that touch from Reddles, just again popping it into open space, and this allows Daniel to reposition. Again, Daniel, play out, Reddles speed test against Chicago, and it's just going to be a 50. And did Arsenal get caught out? He did! JNAP strikes, G2 a 2-goal lead.
SSG is giving up a couple of cheapies here, one to Chicago, one to JNAPS, and this one hurts even more with 44 seconds left, increasing the lead to 2.
Now SSG have to worry about things kind of falling apart here. Offensive drives haven't been working. G2's continuing to score. This one will have 36 seconds left. And G2, they get an extra series here. SSG, they have to come out of this to reset the bracket. They can't afford to lose this in a dominant fashion as Reynolds tries to put a shot on, and G2 once again deny.
They've hit Reynolds with some opportunities, but the finishing has not been there. Ever since that hat trick, he's gone stone cold silent, and this is on target, no, off the crossbar. And Arsenal trying to just feather it back to Reynolds with no time left, really. 5 seconds left, another one dumped in. G2 is going to go on tournament point here with a great victory over SSG.
Now the question is, G2 close it out? Because right now, I mean, they just look like a well-oiled machine out in front. Especially with the way JNAPS has been playing. 5 saves coming out from him, as well as an assist and a shot, or a goal, I'm sorry. His shooting percentage when he is scoring is just always been really high. He shot 50% this game. Meanwhile, SSG on the other side of things, just very quiet. Nothing coming out from Arsenal. I mean, we saw, again, plenty of chances there when they were in the upper half. They tried to put the solo plays in. Just didn't work. They need to go back to kind of maybe passing towards each other. That way, that much being said, though, Again, Stacks, as we move to Neo Tokyo, no team taking a timeout here.
Yeah, nobody taking a timeout. SSG keeping it in their pocket here, so you have to imagine they're not going to take it if they win Game 6. So Spacestation Gaming going this whole first best-of-7 without using their timeout, and they've been stubborn in this tournament to do so, even when FaZe Clan was leading that comeback charge in the upper bracket against them. They did not burn a timeout. The timeout taken by version 1 against them that same day. SSG came back with a 7-0 victory. Teams now are, I believe, are 5-2 since after taking a timeout. But SSG opts to go it alone here as JNaps will get by one. Reddles easily there at the back. Now Atomic, good center ball intended for Chicago, didn't quite find the mark. And that's because Chicago's on his way back to make that save, and he may have to make another. Oh, JNaps jumps in the way to save him.
Those demos are starting to come out again, and so are the passing plays for Space Station. Again, Reddles finding Daniel, even on the defensive transitions, looking really well.
Daniel waiting to watch Arsenal play this one away. And I have a feeling Chicago thought maybe Atomic was going to come up. He hesitates for a moment. Daniel should easily have this. You know, for all of Atomic shooting, by the way, if anybody cares about shooting percentage, and I normally do like the stat, they're not going to look at Atomic very favorably here. He's yet to score. He had 5 shots in that last game, but he does also have 3 assists. Atomic still finding a way to make a difference, even when the shots aren't falling, like that one, saved away by Daniel. Reddles got the save here, and Chicago back for JNaps, stuffed away by Reddles.
Oh, such a calculated play coming out from G2 in terms of like the bump plays, trying to set up JNaps with a clean look, but even then, a stroke of luck hits SSG as Arsenal got bumped into that play, and now they're on the transition.
Reddles against Atomic, one of the few defensive plays Atomic hasn't been able to make directly, but he was still hanging around on the back wall at the end. And now Chicago powering his way around Arsenal, but then knocked into the other half of the field. So now Reddles, with everybody flying over top of JNaps, it's loose in front as Reddles couldn't get the double to fall, and it's just absolutely chaos in the G2 corner.
Oh man, so awkward. You had the double commit come out. Everybody thought Arsenal was putting the shot on. He gets it past 1, gets it past 2. Reddles, bang! SSG start off game 6 with the lead.
Arsenal also yet to score, by the way, in this series. But he's got one banger of an assist there with 3 minutes even, setting up Reddles, who's been relatively quiet as of late. That one could get him going, though. Daniel up the ladder, met by Atomic. And now Reddles trying to get a turnaround on this one, and he has to just stuff JNaps, who's coming in from behind for the bump. Didn't quite get there as early as he would have liked. Now Daniel with Arsenal waiting, and JNaps will bring it out to the corner.
SSG showing a lot of offensive pressure as they start to get things going. Even Reddles off ball, getting some bumps. Again, going back to just making G2 look uncomfortable. But here's JNaps, 1v1 against Reddles. What's he going to do? Air dribble bump, but no, he doesn't connect. Atomic will try to slow things down, but that gets away from everybody, and it's the race back.
Daniel didn't have the boost to try and race them downfield. Now Chicago, oh, it got the drop down, and Atomic a slow roller. He got it, Reddles at least, but Arsenal also there, so the defense packing in there for SSG has worked out as Daniel saved that one, strafing across from Atomic. Now watch Daniel on the other side. Does JNaps leave this for anybody? No, he'll take it himself, and that's a great job defensively.
8 saves to 9 shots. SSG has saved 8 of them. That's G2 has really been putting on the scoring here. Even though SSG keep the ball in that half for most of this game, G2, whenever they move downfield, they're putting something on target here. As again, looking for a goal. Daniel tried to get that 50 out, but JNaps easily gets the save.
Atomic drop one down for JNaps to pop in the air, and the SSG defense kind of left scratching their heads, wondering what G2 really has planned. Chicago got a demo way behind the play. Daniel's already back in, and looking to challenge JNaps. That doesn't work out. The demo's there, and Chicago ties it.
Oh, that's a 1-2-2 to lose special, Stacks. Look at this. JNaps with control. Pass out. Reddles, see you later. Chicago slots it in to tie.
I was worried about Chicago coming into this. You know, he watched his goals per game average plummet from 1.5 plus to something like 1.37 during that FaZe series. Nah, he's still going. He has been incredible. He's got 6 in this series now. As another's played across, and Atomic can't get there in time. Daniel gives SSG the lead again.
Look at this. Solid 50. And Daniel, no boost, has to place this and does perfectly to give SSG the lead back. They got to force game 7 here, Stacks. 1:03 remaining. Can they hold on?
That game was tied for all of 16 seconds. Chicago through the corner for JNaps again. Not happening, as Daniel will force that out to the corner. Try to get around Atomic now. Atomic and Arsenal still yet to score in this final, as Daniel watches this go over top, and Arsenal will take charge. Daniel taken off the pitch. Chicago right there, but he won't have that boost because Arsenal took it away. And this will fall back to Atomic now with 35 seconds to work with. Daniel still has Arsenal downfield, but he couldn't connect for a redirect. They also don't really need a goal. They'd like to have one, but they have the lead, and they may put it away here. No, Arsenal couldn't flip onto it.
This is great for SSG. Again, just kind of slowing down the game, but they have to realize the more time they give G2 to think, the more G2 can play in their advance. Arsenal with the 50, Chicago gets the block out. And Chicago, he's going to start to move upfield now, looking for something for G2. But Reynolds with some control. Atomic can't get the read on that, so it'll bounce up. And Daniel will try to get there first. No time on the clock. It will get one last bounce, though, and we'll see if G2 can make this drive all the way upfield. Arsenal will cut things out. And Atomic will try to play that in space, but Reynolds will score just one more, giving Atomic the playmaker. Arsenal the playmaker, as we are game 7 bound.
It was a good pass from Atomic.
Yeah, that's true. that's true.
The second 0-second goal of this series, this one meaning a little bit less than the strike from JNaps all the way back in game 1, and it will force a 7th game here in what may or may not be the final series of the Verizon Ultra Cup. But Spacestation Gaming stays alive on Neo Tokyo. And now we look one more time at our Mobile 1 high performance replay and see just how Spacestation Gaming got to game 7, where they are 1-1 up to this point since adding Daniel to the roster. And G2 fans, cup your ears, press the mute button for about 5 seconds. Y'all are 0-3 since adding Atomic in Game 7. All right, now they can all unmute. Daz, what is the hope here for G2 on Champions Field?
Well, I mean, I think the hope is, you kind of go back to the play style that we saw from them where, again, they tried to play Space Station's game against them, where, again, you go for the super fast plays, the demos, the bumps, even setting up JNaps with free shots. JNaps has been shooting phenomenally for G2 this series, so, of course, you need to feed the high hand. He didn't really have too many good looks in that last game, but he also had shots under a lot of pressure, whereas JNaps can output, he wasn't able to do so there. So for me, I think you gotta kind of feed JNaps a little bit more and maybe even get Atomic some space. Like we said, the scoring hasn't been there for them. You want to see that.
Well, here we go. What could be the final game of the Verizon Ultra Cup, of course, between SSG and G2, this highly anticipated matchup. It comes down to Game 7 on Champions Field, brought to you by Verizon. Now we'll kick it off. Here we go.
All right. Tense game. All the players have been just playing it out over the course of this entire series, trading blows left and right. But it comes down to who can close it out.
Who's got the ice here on Champions Field? G2 looking for their first win on this field since that big roster change that added Atomic to their roster. Reynolds looking to go 2-1 on this field since adding Daniel. That goes off the crossbar. Daniel forcing one through. Arsenal there as well, but Atomic can play janitor here as he'll clean up the mess smoothly through the air. Didn't get his first goal, but he may get another assist. JNaps no. Chicago denied by Daniel.
Look how fast Atomic's up to get that follow-up shot, but that's going to pinch all the way downfield. Good thing JNaps back in time for G2. Got away with with Arsenal's poor shot placement there on the bump play earlier. Meanwhile, G2 so quick to get things back on that orange half. They are not going to let SSG continue to have sustained pressure on them.
Daniel needed one more touch coming off the back wall. Didn't have it. And now JNaps will bring this all the way over to Chicago, who's going to take his time, forcing Arsenal on his way back. Reynolds, initial stop. Atomic just kind of camped out on that wall, waiting for Daniel. And JNaps is there as well. Good tandem defense there out of G2. Atomic waiting for the pass from JNAPS, not coming. And now Chicago for Atomic, and Atomic getting cold feet there. Atomic, I think, realizes, Daz, his role is not to light up the scoreboard. It's to kind of play safety valve for this G2 squad, and he's done it brilliantly.
He's been creating so many chances for G2, and he's also been making SSG's life really hard. This G2 roster coming out of whole, again, a titan of a team, and SSG's just trying to answer the question, can we beat these guys? We still got 3 minutes left in Game 7.
So many valuable points on the line in the race to qualify for London as Daniel floats one just over the bar. And now Arsenal around Atomic. That has not happened often. And then Atomic got a piece of Reynolds, who still stayed with the play and slowed down G2. What an effort. And now it's Daniel. Got a flip reset. Used it. And scored!
Look at him go! You can't give Daniel that space. He realized the last shot was too high. Let's take it low. Popped up, and the defense couldn't stop him. Daniel, the superstar on SSG.
Coming through in a big, big way. His 22nd goal of the tournament. Arsenal watching JNAPS play that over to Chicago. You know G2 is far from done here. Arsenal gonna pop one up for Reynolds. Indirect, needed one more, got it. Arsenal makes it 2-0 with his Daz first goal of the final.
Look at this from Reynolds, the control, follow-up. He's shown that he can read the ball well off the ceiling, and G2, I guess they must have forgot. Reminder there from Arsenal, 2-goal lead, Spacestation Gaming controlling this Game 7.
And another huge momentum swing, 2 goals, make it 3 goals in the span of 20 seconds.
You almost wish they could slow things down mid-game, but they can't. SSG keep going. Everybody getting a goal here as Reynolds slot top right corner.
Both teams have lit up the scoreboard at different points in this series. SSG and G2 both did it in Game 1, but it's a one-sided affair in the clincher unless G2 have an answer here in the second half of Game 7. Arsenal not cleanly around Chicago. Atomic with JNAPS coming in with a lot more momentum. JNAPS probably should have taken this, and Arsenal will pick him.
And you can hear what SSG are saying right now. They want to reset the bracket. Good pick from Daniel. Arsenal will just pick it up to make sure G2 don't get back in time. 4-0. This is the highest score lead that SSG has had on G2 this series.
JNAPS got at least one shot off here, but yeah, the offensive pipeline has dried up. Atomic intercepted by Daniel. Everything coming up Spacestation Gaming here. Just want to harken back to the pre-show, Daz. One of those options was a 14-game final. We already know we are halfway there, and if this holds, we know we'll at least get 4 more. Daniel stopped by Atomic. Reynolds will put on the brakes, not taken out. And Chicago doing all he can, desperately trying to get some offense going for the G2 Army. There is none to be found. It is all Arsenal. It is all SSG.
They are picking them apart, Stacks. Even with JNAPS trying to get control, Chicago trying to help out. SSG don't care. Arsenal forcing the issue, and a 5th goal for SSG and a hat trick for Arsenal as well. This is a great time to start scoring if you're him.
The last now 7 goals of this series have been scored by Spacestation Gaming. You go back to the end of Game 6, and now this beating that has occurred on Champions Field. We apologize if what you're watching on your screen is obscene content in your area, but it is as one-sided as it gets.
Boy.
And Reynolds gonna add another. They can do no wrong.
End the game. It's over. Arsenal, I mean, Reynolds with that clear out, they've been picking the pockets here of G2 time and time again. And I said it coming in. Hey, maybe give JNAPS some more shooting chances. He still hasn't recorded a shot this game. You just have to go next here, which I am going to be very excited for because we got more games coming up.
Reynolds met by Chicago, and now the only question is, will we get to a 7th? Arsenal tried to leave it for Daniel. Reynolds just patiently waiting. And it's all G2 can do to just get this one over with. Maybe get one so there's no shutout. Then you're worrying about a different meme as JNAPS plays one across inside 30 seconds. How about this performance out of Spacestation Gaming? All three members absolutely incredible. Daniel will walk another one home. That's going to be his 7th goal of the final. And there's plenty more to come for the youngster in SSG.
Yeah, you're right. Seeing Daniel just kind of step up, and this series again had such a slow start. We definitely was wondering. He wasn't putting on shots, and the shots he was putting on were a little bit off target. But then as the series went on, he started to find his form. There were lots of bumps, literally, in this series for SSG. But of course, they all come together towards the end, and my goodness, what a smackdown. They're putting on G2 Esports 7-0 as the clock ticks down. The ball, well, that's not gonna hit the ground just yet. There you go, it'll hit the ground. And a bracket reset from SSG. We got more games to go in this grand final.
That might be the most inhumane treatment I have ever seen of a team on Champions Field. I mean, we've seen some one-sided games, Daz, but you look now at the cameras for G2, and you look at a team that's got to figure out how to stop that absolute juggernaut from going off again like they did just now.
The thing about this for both teams is that no one is celebrating just yet, okay? We know we have another best of 7 coming up. This is the real test for Spacestation Gaming because they put in everything to get through that series. I mean, an explosive Game 7 from them. Look at that beautiful shot from Daniel. This setup from Reynolds was absolutely amazing too. Now the question is, how much more do they have left in the tank? Because even though G2 lose this series, they are going to come back in a strong way. They're going to try to fix these mistakes. And again, this is just going to be the start here as the grand finals are going to continue.
I got to correct you in one thing. There are tens of thousands of people celebrating, especially those that are on 90-something%. We got another best of 7 coming your way. G2 and SSG will lock it up again when we come back.
This might not be your car, and this might not be your engine. Maybe this isn't your morning routine, and maybe these aren't your coworkers. Perhaps these aren't your standard driving conditions. Far from it. But this is your oil, which means you're one of us, doesn't it? For serious engines, on and off the track, upgrade to Mobil 1.
It's 3 a.m. I need a taquito. If you want it, we can get it from the 7-Eleven. Slurpee, light bulbs, antifreeze. Here's your order, nacho cheese. If you want it, we can get it from the 7-Eleven. Tippy driver. We've all been here before.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rocket League Championship Series. We're in the grand finals right now of the Verizon Ultra Cup. It's getting spicy. I'm Leaf alongside me, Gip, Subi, and Turtle. During the pre-show, we had a game show, What Are the Chances? And we asked if of these three things, which one's more likely to happen, a reverse sweep, a perfect sweep, or a 14-game series in the grand finals. And Gibbs pointed out, it looks like we're on track for that.
Yeah, we are halfway there. What a performance by Spacestation, especially the last game. 7-0, that's a statement. But for any other team, I would be worried. But G2, we just saw them at the Winter Major. They got bracket reset by just choking on a goal like on Champions Field. So either way, they bounce back versus Queso. They can do it again here. But for this series, it was back and forth. Daniel and Reynolds really getting involved on the offensive side of things. It's been Arsenal all tournament long, but Reynolds and Daniel really picking up the pace here at Space Station, man. 7-0. Big statement there.
Yeah, and they fought back too as well with their own duo, which was Chicago and Janets, but it wasn't enough. But they've got the stamina. You said it, Gibbs. Yep. They've been here before. They've been through so many bracket resets. You still got to be scared of your SSG.
Well, and I mean, they haven't played as much as SSG has, so G2 have that in their favor. And hey, Gibbs might be right on something today. Wow, that's going to be incredible.
It might be like it's a coin flip right now. I think really going into this, it's a coin flip.
No, and you got to look back at game one. You know, we're all watching that game, and I'm still going to harp on G2 stole that game away. SSG missed an open net. SSG double commit in the waiting moments of it and just gave that away. So I really think this series could have had a different scoreline, but in the end, SSG got the job done.
Okay, well, it's time to see where we stand. I know before this, a few of the analysts were saying that they were already predicting the next one. We'll get their thoughts in a second. Right now, it's time for the Verizon fan vote. Fans of the chat, start spamming away. Hashtag SSG, hashtag G2. You guys had Space Station for the first one. I believe it was about 62% for Space Station. Now, I'm curious, though, if they're going to flip the other side and see if G2 can take this one away or Space Station will tear through. Now we have the desk. Turtle looking ominous and evil over there right now. You did say G2 takes this the next time, Turtle? Are you?
This was all a part of my plan.
Okay, it was.
My evil plan. Okay, get rid of this. I don't want any orange here. Okay, get rid of this. Go to G2. Get this out of here. I don't even want to say their name. Okay. Yes, it's that simple. It's that simple. I knew that it was going to happen. It's happened in the second regional. They got bracket reset at the major as well. I'm talking about second regional of the previous split against NRG. They still ended up winning that after the bracket reset. They won against Queso. It's just in the plans for G2. It's going to happen.
They are just entertainers. They just want more Rocket League, but they still want to win.
And I think, Subi, you said you were going to stick to SSG. Are you staying on that train?
Well, look, there's no oxygen in outer space, and G2 choked in that first series, getting bracket reset on. So you better believe Space Station Gaming's taking this. I mean, I don't have to say much more because when Arsenal has been playing like this all weekend long, why is it going to stop right now? It's not.
Gives it. He's stepping all over your territory here. The only thing you had today was a red shirt for FaZe.
I know, that's it. That was my only prop, and it didn't work out at all. But on Twitter, there's some G2 fans at me saying that I'm already cursing them. But it's not over. It's not over at this point. I still think G2 wins. I'm not flipping, but I think it's going to be G2 the entire way. Easy.
I'm not flipping either.
Easy.
I'm staying with this.
Let's go.
You know, we were
not a follower
wrong on the other one. He's probably going to make us wrong again here, but
People don't know.
I'll stay with it. It's even more in favor of SSG now.
Okay. Chat knows what's up, baby.
Well, our grand finals are about on the way. Let's head to the Verizon Skybox now, as the grand finals are almost here, or they are here, and we're about to crown a champion. Will it be G2 or will it be Space Station Gaming?
75% of the desk takes G2, Daz, but 75% of the chat, the real brains of the operation, siding with Subi, going with Space Station Gaming to not only reset the bracket, but also finish the job. Daz, it's time for Game 8 as we move back to Manfield.
More chances here for G2, as right now they have to stop this SSG train that is moving forward after a killer Game 7 7-0 victory. But we'll see whether or not G2 has made some changes in the break.
Daniel recovered nicely to make that save after he just headbutted the side wall and was out of the play for a moment. He'll set up Arsenal. This will fall right to Reddles. SSG not running into each other at all. Arsenal the decoy, and Chicago read the play, making the save right at the end, pinching that against the post. Now it's JNaps against Daniel. Arsenal gonna take this himself for a double. Down to Reddles, and Atomic and Chicago combined for the save. This is similar to what we saw in the first best of 7. SSG bringing the heat early.
Yeah, already just a lot of pressure. But again, even with that early offensive stance, you got to be able to finish. Oh, that's a big bump, but Chicago with a solid read. Can he get this follow-up touch? He can't. Arsenal, free shot, no. Reynolds, finish! He will! SSG pepper the net and strike first.
SSG took about 5 shots here, and G2 didn't even touch the ball. Everything off the post, off the crossbar, and finally, Reddles threads the needle. And a minute goes by, and we're right back where we started the first series.
Now there's a chance to see whether or not G2, as JNaps tries to do it all himself, can get things under control. Because again, SSG, you got to think, okay, maybe they have figured out a game plan here. Maybe they do know, what they need to do in order to break through G2. Because again, that offensive pressure, that ball still in there in the G2 end. And you start to look at all this time we've taken. Has G2 figured it out? They drop it down. JNaps tries, and it's an own goal again. JNaps will get credit, but it's off Arsenal.
Yeah, Chicago does a nice job of at least getting this in position for JNaps. It is not really on, but Arsenal has to at least try, and he'll put it in himself. So a huge, huge break for G2. The second one that's gone in off of SSG. And if you discount that goal, Daz, it's still 10 in a row scored by Spacestation Gaming. G2 have struggled to get their own opportunities to go. JNAP's trying here. That's deflected away by Arsenal, high up in the air, and Daniel will bring this right at Chicago. JNAP's can turn on this, and maybe an opportunity for Atomic. No, it will fall down to Daniel. They had to respect Reddles, who let that fall. Daniel, no. Reddles, no. Chicago swats it away.
Now
Atomic. Got anything here? No. Chicago does, and Reddles with the save.
Close chance there, but again, stopped out. G2 getting those counterattacks. You start to wonder, when is SSG gonna fall to those? But I think they have a pretty solid read on him as Daniel moves up, looking to see him bring up more of a solo effort. As there's a pass, Chicago has the read, but Daniel saw it and cut it away.
And then Daniel realizing JNAPS was trying to meet him on the wall. Great play to get around him. Arsenal will get this rebound off Atomic. And now Atomic and Chicago will work in tandem downfield, but Atomic's going to have to settle for full boost, actually get about 200 boost as he makes his way back and got in JNAPS' way, so Chicago has to bail them out, and now everybody from G2 has to reset.
This has been a series where blows have been traded and people have been caught out just like that. JNAPS catches Daniel in a poor spot.
And JNAP's doing all he can to get G2 across the finish line. Came in with by far the fewest goals scored on this team. But he has come up big in this grand final. Had a handful in that first best of 7. In fact, he had 6 goals. And he's got the first 2 here for G2. They had gone so long without even scoring. Remember, the final 2 goals coming from SSG in Game 6 of that first series, and then the 7-0 drubbing on Champions Field. It's a different story now as Arsenal can't get it to go. Daniel can't either. Oh, it hits everybody, and Arsenal will get credit for accidentally bonking this one in.
I mean, this one is just... Thankfully, SSG
Look at what I found.
But you can see where everything's just almost kind of falling apart at the seams there for Spacestation Gaming. They get away with that. They're able to tie things up, but I mean, the first shot from Reddles initially should have been the one that went in.
Well, G2 held him for as long as they could. The post and crossbar finally gave way. Arsenal, a good win against Chicago. Tried to set it up in the middle, but there was just nobody coming for SSG. And now Atomic will play it ahead for Chicago. Both Arsenal and Daniel started on their way back. Communication not quite there defensively, but they don't get punished for it. So now Daniel will bring it across. And this will be Atomic's ball all the way, but Chicago jumped in as he might have seen someone coming in from SSG. And we're seeing so many kind of weird defensive plays out of both these squads. You wouldn't think that they'd already played 7 games before this.
Exactly. The way things have looked, I mean, it does seem like off the break, they've had a really tough time as Arsenal trying to do this solo. Daniel coming up to help out. Still, the feel-out process, as I think SSG expected G2 to come in and make some play-style changes. And it's been kind of a big feeler here, but Arsenal could get through with this solo. No, JNAPS denies. And you see Reddles and Daniel both kind of trailing out to try to pick this ball back up.
Nobody took a timeout during that first best of 7. Even when SSG fell down 3-2, they decided to ride it out. G2 didn't take one going into Game 7. We might see one during this series. Daniel breaks the 2-all tie off a fantastic feed from Arsenal.
Oh, it's such a good pass. It's so solid. Because you see JNAPS come in, and it's just testing how fast can JNAPS read this and cut it out. Daniel goes up, says, JNAPS, if you're not in the right spot, you're going to get punished for it. And boy, oh boy, does G2. 12 seconds left. We've seen G2 score with 4 seconds left on the clock, but they got to go the length of the field.
And Chicago had to deal with Reddles chasing him downfield as well, but he at least got this ball out of the danger spot. Now Reddles all the way across. Atomic can read this, and it's an opportunity for G2 with no time on the clock. They'll be without JNAPS, and Chicago's not in a scoring position. He was trying to run interference. Daniel will down it, and SSG take Game 1.
Game 1 going to Space Station off of just a nice link-up pass play. Arsenal, again, he's starting to get even more involved here. He went from not being able to score until almost Game 7 of the first series to now coming alive here in the scoring department, as well as continuing to bring the assists towards it. That was I believe 100% goal participation for Arsenal. As again, G2, they start, you see JNaps again with a couple of strikes here and there. Still, though, series gets away from them.
Our Mobile 1 high-performance replay, otherwise known as a trip to the circus, in Game 1, after that ball just bounced around off of everything, finally found its way in off of the back of Arsenal's car. He was responsible for effectively 2 goals there. He had that one go in off of him at the end, at the early stage, off of JNaps, and now we go to Game 2, Daz, with SSG getting the benefit of a 1-goal victory in the opening game, which they did not have after G2 won the only overtime of this series in that first game, which feels like forever ago. And now the mental reset has to come through now for G2, with Chicago getting them started, and he got it to go.
There you go. Chicago taking matters into his own hands, goes off the ceiling, gets the touch, got bumped, and said, hey, I still got enough boost to make a play on this. Good play by Reed. G2 up.
Chicago taking no prisoners throughout this entire tournament. Just doing what he has done better than anybody else in North America. Daniel couldn't stay with this. Chance for G2 to make a mockery of it early, but Chicago will play that high and wide. And Daniel has Atomic right in his grill. Now JNaps will take over right up against Arsenal, and a neutral 50-50 will be controlled by the G2 Army as Chicago got one in on Daniel. Easy stop. Atomic still yet to score here as he drives through traffic. And JNaps just trying to jam that ball up in the corner. At the very least, it takes time off the clock here with G2 in front and plays the long game for G2, trying to tie up the series.
G2, those double commits on the defensive end can only work for so much longer, as again we saw JNaps and Atomic both going for the same ball. Yeah, they get the clear out, but SSG turn this all the way around. Atomic finally able to get a breakaway, and Arsenal will end up coming back. We'll see him in a moment. Chicago pinch out to the side, and JNaps is going to try to track this one down only momentarily for G2.
Arsenal so quick to just about every loose ball. Now Reynolds takes over as well. Arsenal's there. Daniel will catch this. And G2 all together there in the corner. There are about 5 cars in that quadrant. And in the end, it comes away with SSG on possession again. What a catch by Arsenal to try and keep this play alive. And Reynolds looking to hit one back to Daniel, but he's going to come up and challenge Chicago, which he does. And JNaps needs one more, won't get there. Reynolds up just a little bit quicker. G2, of course, Daz, they're content to play this game back and forth with SSG after Space Station dropped 15 shots in that opening game compared to G2's 7. Not letting SSG get any kind of offensive freedom or any possession at all obviously benefits the team in the lead, but they are doing an exceptional job of it that we haven't seen throughout this whole series.
A lot of people don't understand, if you look at things from the Space Station Gaming side of things, they just handed G2 their first loss in I don't know how long. Like, for them, this is new territory for this roster that seemed to not be able to be beaten. Oh, actually, no, it's the first loss since the Winter Major. I forgot, since he still had the bracket reset.
Ding, ding, ding.
A completely different situation, though. Obviously, this one's heading online, and SSG playing a different play style than the Queso boys.
Well, JNaps will get a ringing shot just over the crossbar. And now here goes Arsenal. SSG have not had many opportunities to score, but they don't need that many to take advantage of it. Reynolds pops one away from JNaps. Arsenal going after Atomic. Atomic evades him, and it's Chicago with possession on the other side anyways. Now Atomic around 1. This will fall right to Reynolds, but no possession out of SSG. And Arsenal missed that corner boost initially. That slowed him down for a moment. Now he's up and ready to go, though. Reynolds to the corner. Arsenal got there, and so too did Atomic. Oh, the defensive big brain on Atomic as that's bounced away. And JNaps right to Chicago, but the pass does not connect. And SSG might have been left off the hook on this counterattack effort.
Oh, good touch from Reynolds, though, to push that one towards the net. G2 seem to be scrambling at this point to try to control the ball as Daniel comes up, but hits that straight into Chicago, and Arsenal gets clean beat by Atomic. SSG have had a hard time finding a way in, and can you blame them? G2, when they do get control of the ball, know how to play it away.
Been a different look out of G2, a team that maybe looked like at times they wanted to run up the score in that first best of 7. Now playing absolute lockdown defense against a team in Spacestation that has abused a couple different teams in this tournament. A 7-0 win over version 1 during their series right after a V1 timeout in the lower bracket, and then 7-0 on Champions Field to reset the bracket here against the mighty G2. Atomic didn't get anything behind that shot. If he did, he would have scored his first goal of this grand final. Now Daniel up against JNAPS, trying to maybe find Reynolds as well. Here is Reynolds. His shot's a little high. Arsenal to follow, and Atomic made that save with Reynolds barreling through the net. Now Daniel with 15 to work with. Arsenal and Reynolds as options. Tried to take it himself, never got the pass away, and G2 just cleared it right off his hood. 7 seconds now as Atomic faked out Reynolds. He may not score, but it doesn't matter. Atomic has closed it out for G2 as long as Chicago downs it, and he does.
1 goal game there for G2. SSG definitely with some options towards the end, but you can kind of see the miscommunications coming through. Now you have to worry about moving forward here, what things look like for Space Station. Again, not being able to get on the board. A lot of, I'd say, just kind of individual plays coming out from G2 that kind of move the ball downfield. But SSG, it just seemed like some of the passes weren't really connecting from them, and there weren't really that many passes overall coming in.
A rather short Mobile One high performance replay as the only goal comes from G2. It comes from Chicago 8 seconds in here on Aquadome. And now we move things over as we always do. Game 3 to break a tie on DFH Stadium, Daz. G2, new look here in this second half of the grand finals. What does SSG have to change on their end?
Well, for SSG, it really comes down to, again, being more clinical on that offensive half. It just seemed like they were in, I'd say, not necessarily holding on to possession too much. And G2, again, definitely holding on to the ball more. It was just not necessarily as comfortable as we've seen from SSG. You go back to that Game 7 where they just straight up dominated. Demos were through. The ball was being played so much more faster. Well, it seems like SSG kind of slowed down there once they got the Game 1.
Oh, Chicago got the shot away, and I think this went in off of Arsenal.
This is
3 own goals out of T-Shock. Are you kidding? Oh, it's Daniel this time.
That's Daniel.
Okay.
I don't know if it makes it better for you, but...
No, it really doesn't for an SSG fan. So they're starting this one off. Similar to how they started off Game 2, an early goal for G2. And doesn't really matter who puts it in, as long as it goes into an orange net. G2 will take it. Reynolds over towards Daniel. Got to get around on this shot, and he can't. And Arsenal and Reynolds almost attached at the hip there as they're coming through the zone. And Arsenal can just pop that back into the G2 end and buy his teammates time to get boosted up and fend off another charge out of G2. We're waiting, I think, to see this guy get going. Daniel, as he comes up empty-handed out of the corner. Reynolds double to center, but again, nobody diving in here. And G2 just very happy to send away these rather disjointed Space Station attacks.
Space Station haven't necessarily been really comfortable. As you see Reynolds on the ball, haven't seen him take too many shots, especially looking at that last game. G2, Atomic wants that drop down to set up JNAPS. JNAPS still put on a good shot despite it being awkward, forcing Reynolds to make a goal line save. But more work still needs to be done here for SSG. Again, a lot of their offensive drives are coming up short. You see Daniel with that one, good chance, but the ball straight down to Chicago, no one there to follow up.
Well, G2 have decisively looked like the better team with their strong arm defense. Chicago over Reynolds, where SSG seemed a little bit faster to a lot of these loose balls, especially around midfield in the opening best of 7. Now it's G2 winning all of those races. Maybe Space Station Gaming has kind of hit that mental fatigue spot where we were hoping maybe they would take care of business early in the first best of 7. Now it's turned into a war of attrition, and G2 by far the better so far. But it is still at the halfway mark of game 3. Atomic got one in front. Reynolds will just boom it downfield. A little dump and chase action here. And Chicago happy to send it right back whence it came, because that's more time. SSG isn't on the attack. Now they are. Daniel whiffed on this, and Atomic has Chicago running free downfield. His shot saved by Arsenal.
You see how quickly G2 are ready to put the pressure on Space Station. Once they saw Daniel with that whiff, they said, okay, let's put on the pass play. Chicago ripped the shot through, and immediately now G2 have been jumping on the ball. You cannot afford to show signs of weakness against G2. They have the lead. We know they can hold on to a 1-goal game. They're looking to make it 2, but the shot doesn't go in.
APAC earlier today had a bracket reset. The team from the lower bracket did come out on top. Space Station Gaming trying to come back here in game 3 and do the exact same. Chicago, though, with Arsenal being screened away from the play, able to just dribble downfield. He still got boosted the tank at the end, and Reynolds marked him the whole way. Arsenal can't hit Reynolds downfield as JNaps had the read. Finally, Daniel to boom it away, and then Arsenal's denied a touch. And this has, again, turned into a track meet. And I think this actually kind of favors SSG, because the more they kind of race up and down the field, the more opportunities SSG can generate.
Right. They are trying to get, again, those shot totals up. They only have 2 shots this game. Daniel and Arsenal have been fairly quiet, as Daniel's right now looking for his first. But, of course, those cutoffs in the midfield and when the ball's played into the corner, that's usually where the offense kind of dies here for Space Station Gaming. There may be a chance in front, but there's always somebody in the net for G2 like JNaps there that is ready to deny.
Into the final minute. SSG fans looking for a reason to wake up. Arsenal for Daniel. This may be it. No, it led him way too far. And JNaps will play that away. Again, Reynolds will have to work with a man advantage and can't get that ball in front. Daniel will try now. Looking for Reynolds. He's open in the middle, but Chicago closes the door on him inside 30 seconds now. That goes off Chicago. Arsenal bouncer collected by Atomic. He falls into the net, though. And now it's JNaps to take over with 15 seconds. Daniel denied by Naps. Reynolds got to make the wide turn here. Final countdown of game 3. Chicago says no. 7 seconds for Arsenal. Bouncer in front. Got the bump on Chicago, but the ball came with him. No time on the clock, and G2 has control of the series.
Big win there for G2, especially with seeing how much pressure SSG put on towards the end. I mean, you saw, again, lots of demo plays coming out. Reynolds especially started to come alive, and even with Daniel, everything that they tried to do, Chicago was in front of it. JNaps was on the goal line. JNaps and Atomic both with a couple saves apiece here, as G2 once again 1-goal games here, being, hey, we get our one, we get what we need, and then we will continue to play this matchup and kind of show you can't score. This is a really important moment here for Space Station Gaming, because you talked about it, right? We go into the second series. They're really, they put in a lot of energy in the first one. Do they have that same energy coming into this next one? And on top of that, can they continue to output on offense? They scored 7 goals in a game, but now they seem to can't score a single one, as they're kind of in trouble here.
This kind of happened to SSG yesterday against FaZe. They had all that momentum, and then they get shut out 1-0 twice in a row. And now I wonder if maybe that's starting to creep in their heads a little bit. They did battle back, and they added a couple goals in the next game in that series, but they also gave up 5. We haven't seen SSG get worked that much on the defensive end in this series, but maybe it's coming. Atomic gonna have that left for JNaps. Demo on Reynolds, demo on Chicago. So there goes JNaps' whole plan. And Daniel will just catch here and try to fake out the defense with how much boost he has. Reynolds for Arsenal right at Atomic. And Daniel gonna take a late turn, try and get onto this, but it's G2 ball all the way.
Definitely, though, different signs of life for offense for SSG. Looking for each other in transition. Arsenal testing JNaps, but JNaps comfortable on that save out. But again, the pass is here. That's what you want to see from Spacestation Gaming.
All the way across as the first minute expires. Atomic spawned right in behind JNAP there. That's a real awkward spot to come in. Reddles now, full tank of boost, but he gives up possession to Arsenal. Now he'll play this towards the wall, and Atomic is right there. Easy play for him. And Arsenal now with Daniel waiting for a pass. Never going to get there because JNAPS cuts it out. Just not seeing SSG generate those opportunities that they had in previous games. Reddles stuffed by Atomic. Arsenal will have that bounce out. JNAPS bumped into that ball by Reddles. And now Daniel has to play that up and away, but not really out of the zone just yet. And there's just not much on right now for Spacestation Gaming. Doesn't mean there won't be soon, with Daniel maybe having some time to play this around Chicago. Reddles, got to have something here. Up high, and JNAPS was not fooled one bit.
Chances for SSG. Still G2 in between, making things very hard. But also on the same notion, G2 only have a shot this game. As that drops down, Arsenal trying to keep things in play. Looking for the bump on Atomic, but won't be able to find it. We'll just settle for the boost steal. Uh-oh, demo in the goal line.
Right at JNAPS, there's the demo. Arsenal denied by Atomic. He absolutely is superhuman.
Can't believe he got that save out. Now another transition as SSG looking again to see if they can break through. They had the demo play set up. They had Arsenal with a free shot, but he ends up shooting that right at the defense, and Daniel on that goal line will try to stop a transition play coming out from G2. Shaky season, though, for SSG. Not only are we starting to see double commits come out, but they're also throwing the ball away.
And you gotta imagine just this long scoring drought, similar to what they did to G2 before. It's gotta be wearing on these guys. Eventually somebody is gonna get a little antsy and take a chance maybe they shouldn't. Arsenal's giving this one away to JNAPS. This has happened a lot. Chicago up ahead, it's on target as Atomic was ready to screen Reddles off the play.
Every time it's Chicago the one that sees an opportunity to strike, and Reddles on his way back, but nah, when Chicago catches you out, puts one of those clear long shots down, it's for a good reason. He has such good ball control, and he shows it there with also his ability to read the game.
Spacestation has not scored since that man, Daniel, put one in with 17 seconds left. The game-winning goal in game one. Reddles just to space, hoping somebody can get onto it. In fact, that someone is him. Now Arsenal bring it in front. JNAPS and Chicago are waiting, and G2 will transition smoothly out of the zone. And now Daniel has Arsenal running lead blocker. Got a piece of Atomic. Flip reset. Daniel's done it again. No, Atomic! Even though he got bumped, he still recovered and made the play.
Chicago dishes a shot out quickly, but Reddles will get there back in time. Another shot from Atomic. No one home. G2 up by 2.
That is Atomic's first goal between both grand final series. And it may be the dagger the way G2's going here in this third game. Still plenty of time, though. A long minute 8. How about a 3-goal lead? That sounds really good right now, but Reddles says no. Atomic to follow, and Daniel stopped him. It was halfway across.
Can SSG get 2 in a minute as the time ticks down? Chicago and crew have just been all over Spacestation Gaming when it comes to the counterattacks. And Daniel whiffed there on the goal line, and honestly some shot chances where you wonder if the placement was a little better. Would this be a completely different game and a completely different series? It feels like SSG, though, letting things slip through their fingers.
Chicago across to JNAPS. How many times have we seen that over the last several years? G2 closing in on reaching tournament point. They've had 2 shots already at shutting down SSG. But now, this time, it looks a lot more promising. It's about to be, unless Reddles has something to say about it, with 5 seconds left. G2, as great as they've been defensively, Daz, they've opened the door a little bit.
And G2's been just, honestly, a defensive monster in this bracket reset. Now they have to stop SSG from doing what G2 did to them in game 1. Can we see a 5-second kickoff play? Daniel has a free ball, but you see the backflip. And now here we go. The length of the field. Tries for the pass. Atomic denies it. And G2 put this on tournament point.
Our statistician in the back, Direct, was starting to type out Spacestation haven't scored in a little over 15 minutes. And right as he was typing that out, that little debacle happened in the corner, giving Reddles a cheap goal, but with only 5 seconds left, SSG cannot rally back. 3 one-goal victories, 2 of them shutouts. That one felt like a shutout here in game 4. So now it's going to be Wasteland, Daz, and it may be the final stand for Space Station Gaming. And to our knowledge, no timeout. They are going to ride this out, just as they did in the upper bracket against FaZe. They've called one timeout during this whole process. It happened after FaZe took a game in the lower bracket just a little while ago. And then they were right as rain. Is Wasteland the end here, Daz?
With the clock getting set up, SSG have 5 minutes to show that they can do something like this. But the problem is, the team that they're playing against just feels unbeatable at times. This G2 roster has shown time and time again, yeah, you may be able to get away with taking a series off of us, but you won't get 2 as JNF slots it in to start us off.
As bad a start as you can have here for Space Station Gaming. Right in behind Arsenal. JNaps will score his 9th of this grand final. And it is all hands on deck offensively now for G2. Now that Atomic's getting involved in the scoring more directly. Trying to take one around Daniel. Bank almost on target, but Reddles plays it all the way over. Chicago's still there. And it just seems like every time SSG plays a ball downfield, there is a G2 car waiting for it. This time, Arsenal will win this at midfield, though. Opportunity for SSG, but somebody had to take charge. Arsenal, I think, was on his way out of the zone, and Reynolds was nowhere near. Daniel is way back. Can't get a play here. Arsenal, though, can take a shot right at Chicago, who makes the save.
Good save from Chicago, looking for that top left spot. Uh-oh, another chance here for Arsenal, trying to get it to Daniel. Daniel gets bumped by JNaps, and here comes the transition. Reynolds' awkward spot. He will not be in the play at all. And Chicago goes for the boost steal into the demo. And JNaps again. This is so controlled and thought out here from G2. Able to create space, create opportunities, and maybe even set up a time, but no, they'll be blocked out by Arsenal.
If you discount that goal with 5 seconds left last game, and I pretty much do, Space Station hasn't scored a meaningful goal in coming up on 18, maybe 20 minutes. Reddles almost had that go in off of him, but it's a little high on his defensive effort. Now Arsenal around JNaps, but Atomic will have this out of harm's way for the moment. Reddles and Daniel both over there. It's Reddles that takes charge. Daniel waiting. Reddles through traffic. Got it to Daniel. His shot denied by JNaps and Chicago.
Oh man, no one's gonna turn on this one. It's gonna be a transition out. When are SSG gonna finally start to fight back? G2 have been in control and they don't show any signs of stopping. Good read. Transition blocked out as Reynolds tried to get a shot through. Arsenal midfield tried to find Reynolds again, and it's gonna go the other way. Will it fall? No, Chicago couldn't get the pinch out. It'll move towards the side wall.
SSG gets a lucky break. They got to make the most of it because they won't get many more. Reynolds high through the air. Chicago stopped him. Daniel around Atomic, and SSG finally get the big goal they need.
And then we were wondering, when do they start to finally fight back? This one goes straight down. Reynolds immediately looks at Atomic, forcing him high. Daniel so smart to play that low. 2 minutes, 41 seconds left as SSG fight for their lives.
It had been up until now, it felt like 6 or 7 G2 goals in a row. In reality, only 3. Daniel. Around here, Arsenal doing a good job getting through the G2 attack. But now it's Atomic. His shot blocked away by Daniel. Juicy rebound, but it's Arsenal that gets there ahead of JNaps. So now Chicago float one for Atomic, and Arsenal read that play all the way. And now who's going to get to this? Daniel missed initially, but quickly off the wall to recover. Reynolds lining up a double. No. Daniel coming on, and he slots it through.
Oh man, just when you think Reynolds, oh, he doesn't have the double, who's gonna follow it up? Daniel in the right spot at the right time, and of course it's Atomic in net again, who has to dodge that SSG Dimbo pressure and try to make a save on top of it. He can't, and he's been exposed this game.
Good cheat up by Arsenal, but that went closer to the back wall than he was anticipating. So now Daniel, just like a missile on his way through. Got locked up with Atomic for a moment. Reynolds denied by Chicago, but the whole G2 defense is way, way back. So Daniel has a lot of time and space, and when he's had it, he's been deadly. Hey, what? That's a heck of a shot out of JNAP, but it's the wrong net. And Arsenal almost got this ball through. This is just a mess right now defensively, and Reynolds will score from the tough angle.
This is not good signs here for G2. You see them bunched up again in that corner. Reynolds finally puts matters into his own hands. Good read off of rolling that one in off the back wall. And SSG finally, it starts clicking for them. The question is it too little too late in the series? They got to get away with this game. 1:30 left, and G2 haven't been on offense in a while here.
3 unanswered goals for Spacestation Gaming on their last life. All scored in the last minute. 7. Daniel off the demolition by Arsenal. Can't finish here. And G2 hangs around in this potential closeout game until now. Arsenal bounces one through, and Reynolds will get credit for the playmaker.
Look at this. Arsenal jumped off the ceiling, and JNAP thought he had a 50 there. Not a chance. As boy, oh boy, they were quiet for 2 games in a row, but it feels like they finally caught their second win. This has been wild because you look at G2 and the way this team is operated, just when they're on offense, it's scary, Stacks. Like, they're so good and breaking down defenses, but now their defense is starting to be broken down. With a minute left, they're down by 3.
And Daniel, a blistering shot dealt with by Atomic. The decision not to use a timeout, no problem. Reynolds just ahead of Chicago. And as the frustration piles on here for G2, they find themselves second best to every challenge. Back to Atomic here, and now it's like SSG is fighting over possession amongst themselves, trying to pad their own stats in a game that they feel like they have firmly in control. Reynolds right at JNAPS. JNAPS not able to move downfield nearly as quickly as he'd like. Daniel intercepts there. It's a freebie for Arsenal, and he scores.
Yeah, SSG lighting up the scoreboard now, and G2 look uncomfortable. You see JNAPS, he's looking for that pass to Atomic, but Daniel's so quick to cut it out. And then the whole defense kind of falls apart from there. Arsenal with a clean look on net. Whew. Well, they show up here, Stacks, but you know, they're still in a tough situation here. They got to win the next 2 straight if they want to take this. Keep in mind, I don't think G2's no slouches. They're not going to fall over so easily. Chicago puts that one in just to prove the point a little bit more, as again, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, scoring a goal here, though, just kind of feels like applying a Band-Aid after you've had your arm lopped off. 5-1, now 5-2. As this just delays the inevitable. We will see Neo Tokyo again. SSG, with its back against the wall, comes out fighting. And they fend off G2 for 5 minutes. Can they do it again? You'll only have to stay tuned and find out. SSG are battling back.
Yeah, they are, with such purpose, too. I mean, when you think of this with G2, right, the early start, great play as well for JNAPS, a beautiful shot. This kind of turned into a really worrisome moment, but when it clicked for Spacestation, boy, oh boy, did it. As again, you look back at that play, that was amazing. G2 were setting up plays like that the entire time, but of course we saw the individual plays as well as just moments of brilliance coming out from Arsenal here. A lot of work has come in for this SSG team, and when they have a read on G2, it looks like they can't be stopped. But that being said, that doesn't happen consistently as what we saw from earlier in this series. How much gas is left in the tank? Because G2 can go all day against you. We're on Neo Tokyo for Game 6. Will we see Champions Field as SSG try to force a Game 7?
G2 know full well what it looks like to see a bunch of goals scored in rapid succession. They did it against Ghost. in their upper bracket series yesterday. Atomic denied by Reynolds. Follow-up from JNaps off the crossbar. Daniel might have helped it, as Reynolds will bring this out, and Atomic has that fly over his head, and Spacestation has fully recovered. At least early on here as Daniel pops one out, and Atomic looking for Chicago's possession really isn't over for G2. Now it is with that emphatic clear from Daniel.
Good touch in the midfield from Arsenal. Good kind of reads on the plays for SSG. You see G2 all sitting inside their own net when Arsenal goes up in the air. Meanwhile, when they had the ball, SSG were kind of spread out towards that midfield line. No one willing to give ground early here in Game 6.
Reynolds trying to hit Arsenal, and he put it right on the nose through traffic. JNaps doesn't have anything here. Chicago will get there. Atomic thought about jumping. Daniel thought about diving in. Neither went. But they avoid the double commit, and they avoid the over commit on the side of SSG. And now JNaps up ahead, easily taken away by Daniel. One-on-one Daniel Atomic. Now Chicago in the fray, and Chicago got bumped away, but Atomic stands tall against Reynolds.
Yeah, good read on Atomic. I think he saw what Daniel was trying to do after Daniel had the slow air dribble. Said, okay, I need to make sure to stop the follow-up from this. But SSG still not done. I saw a little pre-jump there from Arsenal. He was looking for the pass from Daniel, but they won't be able to connect with that.
Settle down, T-Shock. Just calm down. The series is still on the line. You're not up 5-0 yet. Arsenal now against JNaps. Daniel in the air as well, but Arsenal's going to call his own number, and he scores!
There's T-Shocker going crazy. You see this one, again, gets that dodge, follows it up, no boost, but he doesn't need any to dunk JNaps.
Well, well, well. The G2 Army under fire. Arsenal waiting. Now he'll go up to beat Chicago to this ball, but it's gone backwards, and Daniel had a real awkward play. Reynolds should have this against JNaps. He does. But SSG made that a lot more dangerous than they had to. Chicago, quick counter, no. Sent back in by Daniel. Got to be a lot more clever than that to get by the Space Station defense. Reynolds hindered for a moment by JNaps. Chicago got by 2. Now it's only Daniel to beat. He's up to the task, but Atomic can send one down quickly. JNaps is there, and he couldn't get the touch. That's a big break for SSG. I think if JNaps gets that slam off the sidewall, it could have been a wide open net to shoot at, and Daniel once again booming one away.
Chance out as this one trying to drops down. Lots of good drives, I say, here from G2. The way they're able to move the ball upfield has been well, but you gotta watch out because sometimes they're threatening on defense. That's a double commit again. Chicago last back. He's been in this position multiple times. He's able to do well to buy the team some time, but still lots of scrambling coming out from G2 as Arsenal gets that one past, play out into the corner, and finally ends in some space where Chicago can start to control.
Daniel across as things have slowed down significantly. Plenty of boost to go around. Nobody's been starved out. Want to remind you, Mobile One, the official boost provider of the Verizon Ultra Cup. There we go. I'll just pocket that little paycheck. All right, JNaps now against Daniel. Reynolds with a full tank of boost. He's had plenty provided to him in this series. And Arsenal has provided plenty of fireworks. JNaps, floater, easily dealt with by Reynolds. And now Reynolds in a real tough spot, but Chicago couldn't make the leap of faith after that one. So Daniel and SSG continue to work with the 1-goal lead coming up on the final minute in a game they must win to force Champions Field yet again and maybe get the full 14-game bracket reset. Chicago's got other plans, but Daniel respawns and he saves them again.
What a save from Daniel off the respawn, but that's gonna pinch in! JNaps with the challenge, showing that G2 aren't done yet.
JNaps unassisted as he picks Reynolds' pocket clean, and Arsenal could not get anywhere. He had no momentum. 46 seconds remain, and maybe another wild finish here on Neo Tokyo. Reynolds against JNaps. JNaps won that one as well. He's got Reynolds' number, perhaps.
Ooh, good control.
Now Reynolds with JNaps nowhere near him. Does he have a reset? No, and Atomic will take this away with 30 seconds left.
Oh, look at JNaps with that follow. So dangerous with the 50. Chicago with a free look. Tries to play it low into the dunk. JNaps follow up, but no, he missed. Ooh, he missed. And they'll be pinched away. Chicago, great challenge to buy G2 some time. 15 seconds left. We could be headed for OT. But G2, I feel like they want to sit in the house. SSG's been stuck in their own back end. Even JNap's cutting this one off in the midfield as the clock ticks down. Free ball. Is Daniel going to go? Chicago plays it high. Does Daniel have the read on this? He does. And it will go to the sidewall. How long are they going to keep this one in the air? Arsenal wants to kill it. And that's what will happen. Overtime, game 6.
What a play defensively by Daniel, too. That's a loose ball. It's like a 1v1 kickoff that he has to stay back on. Daniel making the big stop, though. It's JNaps that has forced overtime. SSG were so close. Reddle's in front. It angles down, but Chicago read it the whole way, and there's Arsenal bumped away by Chicago. So Daniel has to race back, and he's trying to hit Reddles, but Chicago's there instead, and Arsenal, boy, all these players so familiar with each other, and everybody lets this go. This is dangerous. SSG playing with fire. They're about to get burned maybe by Atomic. Reddles, bouncer in front. Arsenal is there. Off the ceiling. It might have caught a little more of the ceiling than Arsenal would have liked. And here comes G2 again.
Got on Reynolds to play that into the corner. Gotta be really careful here. If you're SSG, one mistake, the tournament's over. As again, G2, they are playing with so much more speed behind their plays. Demo comes out. They're not letting SSG get comfortable at all. Chicago's doing work upfield.
JNaps right at Daniel. Look, JNaps is beating everybody on SSG except Dan there. Oh, Chicago had it in front as Daniel missed off the back wall. And now Atomic and Reddles collide. But it's JNaps for Atomic for the win. Just high, and Arsenal, put it right down the middle. This is dangerous. Chicago and Naps both up. It's Jacob to shoot, and Arsenal gathers on the backboard. Reddles got over Chicago, but now here's Atomic. Daniel had to contend with Chicago and made the save. SSG finally out of danger with that pinch.
Yep, they're out of danger. They're boosted up, and now it's time to see if they can pput on some pressure to G2. Doesn't look likely. You see Daniel hesitating back, and Arsenal has to make a big read. Huge stop there for SSG. They, again, are being smothered, though, from G2, who are honestly reading the ball very well.
Reddles was hoping that boost would be there. It was not. And now Atomic and Arsenal are right there. JNaps shots wide, and Daniel had to be sure not to give an easy rebound, as he got that around Chicago and Atomic. JNaps up, that's a double commit. This is dangerous. SSG trying to get to Champions Field, and Atomic with a save at the end.
Oh, that was so close. Barely. JNaps misses. What are they gonna do? Reynolds again flies it over, but no one is going for the ball. And that one gets away from Spacestation Gaming. They have to try again while G2 are barely uncomfortable. They're boosted up, and it's only a matter of time for they break out.
Atomic up the ladder. He's been so quiet. Could he play hero? No. And now Arsenal with Chicago and JNaps retreating. JNaps off the respawn. It's Chicago sending this one out. Right there is Arsenal, though. Full control for SSG. Try to lock down G2 in their own half. And Daniel, he's been a little hesitant here in this overtime. Sometimes for good reason. It's in front, and JNaps secures it. G2 takes the Verizon Ultra Cup.
It comes down to this. The backboard read. Reynolds under pressure, and he can't connect with the ball. It's a simple follow-up. JNaps ends it. G2 win the Verizon Cup.